Good morning. I am Bob Hardy. Welcome to our Unity of Walnut Creek service.
And I am Diane Hardy. We have a wonderful service in store for you today. The production crew with us here today includes our technical director, John. Peter is behind the camera, and Annie is our brilliant production manager. We are pleased to have Reverend Richard Mekdeci as our featured musician today, and he's going to open our service. Richard is president and co-founder of Empower Music and Arts, where he fosters a growing community of new thought and positive music artists and produces the Posse Awards and Posse-Palooza concerts all over the country, including right here at Unity of Walnut Creek. Richard is also the music director at Unity Renaissance in Chesapeake, Virginia. Let's invite Richard here to the West Coast to open our service with us today.
Good morning, everybody. Reverend Richard Mekdeci joining you all here from Virginia Beach, Virginia. It's good to be with you on the West Coast in Thousand Oaks. I want to thank my good friend, Reverend Kristen. Gosh, we go back a long way. For helping get me here this morning, and especially your awesome music director, Lisa, for helping organize the music. We're going to start with a bringing together song called All Together Now. No matter who you are, what your age, right now, in this moment, we are all together now. So if you don't know the words, just know all together now and clap your hands. Father, son, mother and daughter, old and young, sister and brother, everyone, one with the other. Like this. If that's what you're feeling, shout amen. Bells will be ringing. Love is when everyone's singing. All together now. We're all together. One big family. We're all together. And it's so heavenly. I'll play piano, you sing bass, I'll sing soprano. 1, 2, 3, 4, ready, set, let's go, all together now. Everybody sing, we're all together, one big family. We're all together, and it's so heavenly. Ooh, you play drums, I'll play piano. You sing bass, I'll sing soprano. 1, 2, 3, 4, ready, set, let's go, all together now. Let's hear it. 1, 2, 3, 4, ready, set, let's go, all together. Start of the morning. Thank you. I'll see you in a few minutes.
Well, thank you, Richard. That was really fun and really woke me up. Today we're going to continue the theme of the 8 pillars of joy. The theme today is generosity, as our beloved Kristen will be preaching on that later this morning. We're looking forward to that, so stick with us, of course. Now let us first ground in unity. Unity is a positive path for spiritual living. Our vision for the world is we envision a spiritually awakened world where all lives thrive in conscious oneness. Our mission is who we have come here to be. Let's say this together. We are a loving, inclusive community, expanding and living our divinity in sacred service for all. Our core values are love, connection, service, and wisdom.
If you are with us for the first time, welcome. You're invited to fill out a connection card. Connection cards are available on the Unity of Walnut Creek website on the Watch Live page. Just click on it at the bottom. You can submit a prayer request, and our prayer team will pray with you throughout the week. You can also submit feedback and request more information.
Our classes and events are currently held online and by phone via Zoom. There are a few important announcements and opportunities coming up just for you.
One of them is our Unity Fun fundraiser. Do you have a cute animal you'd like to see in a calendar? Unity is compiling a 2021 Animals of Unity calendar as a way to showcase our family animals as a fun fundraiser for our community. A donation of $5 per animal guarantees that your friend will have a place on this year's edition. The calendars will be printed on high-quality, glossy paper in time for holiday giving. A portion of the proceeds from each calendar is donated to Tony LaRussa's ARF. Deadline for photo submissions is today. So put in your bids to have your favorite family friend featured on the front or back cover. Send it to our website at weekly at Unity of Walnut Creek, where you'll find more information about payment and details. Just email weekly at Unity of Walnut Creek for more information.
Great. Our commitment at Unity is to hold malice toward no one, malice toward none in this post-election season right now. Are you distressed by the election results? Gather with us for an interactive service this Tuesday coming up here, November 17th at 6 p.m. We will work through some of our emotions and make a commitment to hold malice toward none. We will come together in a joint session of both camps, delighted and distressed, on Saturday, November 21st at 9 a.m. This will be a respectful, facilitated discussion and witnessing process toward reconciliation. Registration for these sessions is required on our website. And I encourage you to do that beforehand through Eventbrite so that you can get on the sites on time. See you then.
Let's give thanks this year. Together, we offer an opportunity to share gratitude with your spiritual family at this heartfelt and uplifting annual service. Join us on Wednesday, November 25th at 7 p.m. and get infused with gratitude.
The holiday season can be a sacred time to remember a loved one who has made their transition. Honoring your loved ones with your spiritual family as witness is powerful and healing. Our remembrance service is Thursday, December the 3rd at 7 p.m. We will also honor Unity members who made their transition this past year. Yes, December is almost upon us.
See our website for a full listing and login information for all of our events. If you're not receiving our weekly e-news, use the connection card link on the Watch Live page to sign up, and the Watch Live page is on the Unity of Walnut Creek website. Following our service today, we invite you to log on to Zoom about 12:45 for a virtual patio conversation. Prayer chaplains are also available to pray with you during that time. You can discuss our Sunday messages with your community and then meet again on Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. at the weekly Spiritual Growth Circle.
Now, as we prepare for our time of meditation, let's ground with our statement of faith. Let's relax and breathe in, settling into our hearts, and just taking a few moments for ourselves to center. And one more deep breath. Please join me together. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the loving goodness of God.
In preparation for our time of meditation, we will begin with a reading, followed by music from Richard, and leading into a guided meditation and silence. So our reading today comes from the Daily Word, a Unity publication. And the topic for today is one of our pillars of joy, generosity. A classic Unity hymn declares, "Love is something, if you give it away, you end up having more." Well, it is true that freely sharing my time, talent, and treasure attracts good into my life. I am inspired to give for the sheer joy of giving. Recognizing my oneness with all people in God, I know every thought, word, helping hand, or financial gift I offer blesses me as much as it blesses the one who receives.
In the vast network of people I know, I have an opportunity to give of myself spiritually. I think of all people who might appreciate my patience, acceptance, and understanding. God has given these gifts freely to me, and I am blessed as I pass them on to others. Because I know both giving and receiving are essential to the flow of abundance, I accept with gratitude what comes to me through the generosity of others. I count each day as another opportunity for me to give in return.
The love of God enfolds us. The love of God surrounds us. The love of God infills us. The love of God is us. Melding into this truth. You begin to feel the borders of I and the divine erase. tap that power of love that rests behind the heart. Spills over to fill the entire space of the heart. It moves through our whole beings, bodies, and beyond. We are love. We are made of love. We are the essence of love. We become the living, breathing, moving love on the planet. And let this love move through us, healing anything that needs to be healed within our beings, our bodies, our hearts, our minds. Letting the love wash through our minds, it lets go of whatever stories or ideas are no longer serving us. Washes through us and them. Other and self. As this divine love washes through our hearts, it lets go of any emotions that have been weighing us down. Feelings of tension or instability, uncertainty. Suddenly feels more solid, more relaxed in the presence of love. And anything that may be going on in the body, we just know that love takes care of it. The mighty currents of healing love wash through us. Heal and reveal and let go. So let us rest in that one heartbeat. The sanctuary of divine love itself, in the silence. Restored now in love, Any problems or concerns that we brought to this time of meditation can be left behind now. It's always our choice. No matter how we choose to pick our problems and concerns back up or not, to leave them behind and let them dissolve in the light of God's love. Either way, we are made of love. The love is always here to sustain us. The love is always here to remind us of who we are, of what we're made, of how we can choose to move through this vast and beautiful world. Love is all there is, really. And we are grateful for it. And so it is.
You are that love. You are the love of God. I am that love. I am the love of God.
A couple of days ago, I was talking to my goddaughter Grace by FaceTime. A lot of you know Grace. She's about 7. She lived with us for a little while, and you've met her here several times on camera as well. She was telling me this story, and she said that she was moving toward a spider with a paper towel, and then she realized, oh, I could save him instead, and she ran and got a cup and a piece of paper, and she caught the spider and brought it outside. And we talked together about how that spider was so grateful, and he was probably waving all 8 legs in praise to Grace, and we were giggling about this. And she says, you know, my mom uses a paper towel, but she feels for the spider. And then she leaned real close to the phone so her mom wouldn't hear, and she said, and there's another one in the shower, and I don't want my mom to see it. Generosity is our pillar today of enduring joy. The generosity of giving life is a big part of that. Generosity is a basic tenet of major religions. We call it by different names. In Christianity, we call it traditionally charity. And in Judaism, it's actually a word that translates to justice called tzedakah. In Islam, it's one of the 5 pillars. And in Islam, it's called zukah. And in Hinduism, Buddhism, it's called dana. But in all these ways, it's all about giving. It's all about generosity. It's all about opening our hearts. Research tells us that there are 4 different circuits in the brain and one of those 4 brain circuits actually is fed with well-being for long term by generosity. Also, research shows that when we give, our immune system, actually it's not even about giving, it's about thinking about giving in this case. So even thinking about giving can strengthen our immune system, let alone the act itself. So all of us having been on the giving and the receiving end, we know what it feels like to be in the flow of generosity, and we know why that would be claimed as a pillar of joy, because there is great joy in that flow of giving and receiving. And yet, there can be gaps between what we know and how we practice, right? Isn't that true of pretty much everything we talk about on the spiritual journey? There's the spiritual talk, there's the theory, the understanding, the principle, and then there's the putting it into action. That's the key, isn't it? That's certainly what we focus on in Unity. And so to look at that gap, what is the gap between our generosity, our knowing of generosity, and our practice of generosity? Well, right now, today in our society, that gap is called polarization. And there's a process that happens in polarization. First, we start dividing ourselves into different circles, right? So our circle becomes the circle that maybe acts like us or looks like us, or particularly right now, believes like us. And as we create that circle, those who are in the circle are clear, and those who are in that other circle, it's also clearly demarked. So that polarization begins to push us out as we create these circles of divide. And then we begin to label the circles. You know, the people in my circle are the good ones, the right ones. And the people over there in that circle, they're the bad ones, they're the wrong ones. I mean, simplified labels, but you know, you get the basic idea. And so that then makes us move from not just polarization, but becoming fundamentalist, essentially, because we begin to think that our way is the right way. And so now we have this sort of prescribed set of ideologies and beliefs and ways of being and thinking and speaking, maybe even, that put us in the camp of this fundamentalist thinking. And eventually, as the logic goes, then the ones in the other are not really whole because they're missing something, right? Something's just missing over there. You know, there's some ignorance, or they just don't get it, or there's really something wrong, right? So then it moves from the polarization with this fundamentalism in it to a space where it really begins to be dehumanizing. Because if that person isn't a whole person, then I can begin to dehumanize them. And it starts out, again, pretty innocently, like we first started out with our circles, pretty innocently. But then it becomes, you know, first it's comic-like caricatures of the other, and then it's name-calling. And then, as we know, dehumanization in our history can get super serious. It can turn into slavery. It can turn into apartheid. It can turn into war and violence of all kinds. It can turn into genocide. I know none of us want to go down that road. And so this spirit of generosity really inculcates in us something different that is opposed to this idea of opposition, that is more about moving toward and opening up and including than it is to continue to move in these opposite directions. So what can we do? One of the things that we can do is move toward letting go of some of the ill feelings, right? So as we let go of some of the ill feelings, that begins to open us. And then to actually do some things that keep our minds flexible and supple, open and inclusive. Like, for example, Pema Chodron gives this exercise called Just Like Me. She recommends that you go to a busy intersection. You could go to a political rally and stand at afar and do the same. You could go anywhere, really, in the grocery store, or you could just sit in the comfort of your own home and bring into your mind's eye these individuals. So as an individual comes into your purview, whether it's in your mind's eye or in front of you, the exercise is to say, just like me. Just like me, this person wants to feel safe. Just like me, this person wants to be healthy. Just like me, this person loves their children. Just like me. You get the idea, right? And you can go on and on like this. Just like me, sometimes this person loses their temper. Just like me, sometimes this person makes mistakes. And as we do that, you can see how, I can even feel it just as I'm speaking it, how some of that divide, some of those walls begin to crumble and fall. And we realize, oh yeah, that's right, we're all one human family. And it's so important for us to do this work now. It's so important and timely for this wonderful and joyful pillar that is called generosity. And applied to the situations in our lifetime, we can make a huge difference in bridging those gaps, in awakening hearts, in bringing more life. That's what generosity does, essentially. Pema Chodron says this in her new book, Welcoming the Unwelcome. I think it's her new one. It's new to me, so I think it's one of the newer ones. But she says this, the time we live in is in is fertile ground for training to be open-minded and open-hearted. If we can learn to hold this falling apartness without polarizing and without becoming fundamentalists, then whatever we do today will have a positive effect on the future. Let's take a look at this life-giving aspect of generosity. The Jordan River in Israel feeds two different bodies of water. One is a sea to the north. They're called seas. They're technically not seas, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. That's what they're called. So one feeds the one to the north that is called the Sea of Galilee. And one feeds and one feeds this. I'm sorry. The River Jordan feeds the two, and the other one it feeds is to the south. Both of these bodies of water are fed, but they're so different in how they are and what they bring. So the Sea of Galilee has been used for forever, it seems, in the history of humankind for all kinds of things. It teems with aquatic life, with fish and animals. And it's a place where you might remember in the Gospels that is referred to, so many stories and activities took place at the Sea of Galilee. Jesus and the disciples fished there. They met people. They went all over the Sea of Galilee by boat to different towns and places that are positioned around the sea. Even Jesus walked on the water there. Remember that story? And there was also this sense of serving both the human population and all life around that continues to this day. There are bustling communities and farms and resorts all around. It's a center of commerce and trade. And so the Sea of Galilee is full of life. Now that other sea, that sea to the south, it's called the Dead Sea. And that sea, as you can imagine, is not full of life. It's stagnant. It's dead, essentially. There's nothing that it feeds. There's nothing it gives life to. There's no life in it, in fact. In fact, it actually spits out pebbles that turn into blocks of asphalt. What's the difference between these two? They're both fed by the fresh waters of the River Jordan. The difference is that the Dead Sea doesn't have an outlet. So there's nothing for it to give to. Whereas the Sea of Galilee both it receives and gives back to the same River Jordan. Different branches, but the same. And so you can see that when there is no outlet, things shrivel up and die, right? When there is no way to give, when there is no way for generosity to pour through, but only to take, only to receive, then there is no life. So how are you acting these days? Are you more like the Sea of Galilee, or you're more like the Dead Sea? Are you feeling stagnant? If you are, think about what brings you joy. What would bring you joy to give to someone else or to something else today? And that will open up that outlet so that life can pour through, and your own body can feel alive, like like the Sea of Galilee, that body of water that feels so alive. So when we consider the different ways that we could give, we begin to move in this direction of generosity, which naturally returns us to the divine flow. Giving, we all know this, is receiving. We know it in theory and we know it in practice. We know it from our experiences that when we give something genuinely from our heart, that there is a sense of joy in the giving, and even more so when it is received with gratitude. But we don't need to have that expectation or that string tied to it. We can still give freely and generously and feel the joy by doing so. And once we get into that flow, we realize that through our acts of generosity that the energy keeps flowing both ways. Archbishop Desmond Tutu put it this way. He said, God doesn't know very much math, because when you give to others, you should be subtracting from yourself. And instead, it seems like you make more space for you to be given to. So it's somehow that it is that as indeed, the way the reading went today, that as we give, love is something. When you give it away, you end up having more So it is with everything that we give from this genuine kind of heart. And it's true that when we give, it's an act of abundance. It's an act of prosperity. The Good News translation of this familiar Bible verse goes like this: "Give to others, and God will give to you. Indeed, you will receive in full measure a generous helping, poured into your hands, all that you can hold. The measure you use for others is the one that God will use for you." Again, the more we give, the more we receive. So what about that other half of the divine flow, that receiving is also giving? So being somebody who is generous is not just about, honing the art of giving, but it's also honing the art of receiving, being a gracious receiver. So it's not to be ignored, this part. The health and the abundance of the Sea of Galilee depends on the ability for it to also be an inlet, for it also to receive. So we keep the divine flow moving by being both receivers and givers of grace. Generosity flows through an open heart. So let's just swing wide the doors of our hearts right now with this song. It's written by Daniel Nahmod, and it's performed now by Richard Mekdeci for us.
Swing wide the doors. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. Ooh, swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. I'm not holding it in anymore. I'm gonna shout it out loud. I understand now what I'm here for, and what this life is about. Whoa, swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. It's about love, it's about laughter, it's about comfort and smiles. It's about love, it's about kindness, it's about hearts open wide. It's about love, it's about passion, it's about taking a chance. It's about love, it's about service, it's about lending a hand, lending a hand. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine.
Practicing generosity is simple, right? There's so many different ways to do so. So just pick the one that brings you joy. Here's some thoughts to tune into, some opportunities to consider. Learn about people around you who inspire you, and then see if there's a way that you can help them achieve their goals. This story really moved me from ABC News. There were a couple of police officers that found this guy, Fred Barley. He was at Gordon College in Barnesville, Georgia, but he was actually on the campus in a tent, and so the police were coming along to evict him as a homeless guy. He's 19 years old. And then they heard his story. Fred had ridden on his little brother's bike in 100-degree weather from Conyers, Georgia, which was 6 hours away, with all of his belongings, his duffel bag, 2 gallons of water, and a box of cereal. And he had done that because he wanted to enroll in a second semester as a biology major at Gordon College. He was hoping to come early and find a job, but he wasn't having any luck, and so he didn't really have another choice. He didn't have the money to stay anywhere else. The officers were so moved by Fred's story that they put him up in a hotel on their own dime, and the word got out, and people in the town began to donate school supplies, money, food, the rest of his motel stay. And then Casey Barnley heard the story, and she decided to set up a GoFundMe page for Fred. She actually met Fred first and talked to him, and she was so moved by his determination that she said, I want to help this kid go to school. And so the GoFundMe page has now raised $184,000 toward Fred's education. The generosity of strangers is so heart-opening and so moving. And every day we have these kinds of opportunities to give to people we've never met, to give to people in our own household and family, to just give, to share, to open ourselves in this divine flow. This sort of, I always think of the infinity symbol, of the giving and the receiving that is generosity. And if you imagine that from heart to heart, all these loops that we create, how very different than the idea of the 2 poles, the 2 circles that we talked about earlier. Instead, this infinite flow of divine good coming from one heart to another, helping one another. Another way that we can help each other is just to be tuned in energetically to what's going on with somebody. We can feel when somebody could use a little love, maybe a hug or some encouraging words. Yesterday, Brentley and I had an argument, and I was sitting outside. It does happen. Not a lot, but it does happen, as it does with all of us. I was sitting outside, and I was just feeling heavy-hearted about something I had said. And then out popped through the doggy door our comfort spaniel, Dakota. She actually usually prefers to be indoors, but I think she felt my heart, and she came out, and she came right to my feet. And so I picked her up and sat with her, and she cuddled up, like really cuddled into me in my lap and was looking into my eyes. And so we just had this time of petting and just being with each other. And then it's like she felt like, okay, I did my duty, and she was ready to go. And we parted, and she went right back inside. And I thought, wow, this dog teaches me so much, as our animals often do, but particularly about generosity. And, in dog language, it's so simple. It can be this simple in our lives too. Tune in. Notice what's going on energetically from an emotional and spiritual level. And then just follow your heart. Let your feet follow your heart to wherever that is, and be some presence of encouragement, some presence of solace or love or whatever it is that is needed in that situation. It's really not that hard. We make it super complicated. Oh, I don't know what my purpose is. I don't know how to give. That's the human mind making things difficult. Act like a sweet animal with a wide open heart in the present moment, and we got it down. Generosity can be as simple as that, and we can use really focused, intentional spiritual practices like the one I shared earlier from Pema Chodron, the Just Like Me exercise. It's really a wonderful exercise to bring us into empathy and the generosity of heart that comes with that, and to bring us closer together. We constantly receive divine ideas, ways to give ourselves. And so all we have to do is, actually just thinking about them, as the research says, will open up our hearts more and give us benefit, but acting on them even more so. And think about how we get doubly blessed by the acting, and then the receiver gets blessed too. So the action piece is an important part. So what would you bring? What could you bring today to someone or to something that would give you joy? There are so many things. I'm going to name a few to just sort of jog your thoughts about what might be moving through you. You could give somebody a gift. You could make somebody a gift. You could give somebody some financial assistance. You could give them a hand with something. You could give somebody a call, write them a note of appreciation. There's so many different things, right? We could provide reassurance and compassion, solace, love, affection, attention. Generously interpreting another's actions, give them the benefit of the doubt. That is also generosity. Sharing spiritual teachings and inspiration and encouragement. So you can see there's no end to the list once we get going. It's a bit like gratitude, which is next week's pillar. It just keeps going and going and going. So just pick something and make a decision today to do something generous, to do something giving. And then notice how you feel. Notice what happens in your heart, your body, and your mind when you give in that way, how you receive in that moment. It truly is the fast track to joy. So let's commit together to being givers to life and remaining open to receive so that we can remain in that divine flow. We can be in that space that is, that if you imagine that energetic infinity symbol between the two poles, you can see how that would begin to pull together that beautiful, generous, divine, flowing, abundant, loving energy, how that would begin to pull the poles naturally together. And that's one of the ways, just simply by stepping into it, that we do so. And as we keep our minds flexible and our hearts open, we get practiced at this, and generosity just pours through us. It just comes naturally. So I want to invite us to be this, to embody this, and let's affirm it together. Together, I keep my mind flexible and my heart open, and generosity pours through me. I am a giver of life, and I receive abundantly. And so it is. Bless your generous heart.
Thank you, Kristen, for that wonderful message. Like so many spiritual principles, generosity is a paradox, and we're reminded about that when you think of it as a biological reality, that what goes in must flow out. Simone Beauvoir said that attention is the purest form of generosity that you can give. And we wanted to allow us to contribute to your life, allow Unity of Walnut Creek to contribute. So if you have a joy or concern on your heart today, our prayer chaplains are available to provide prayer support. You can ask for that during our virtual patio conversation after the service, and you can also contact them by completing a connection card on the Watch Live page, or click on Prayer Requests at the bottom of the Unity of Walnut Creek homepage. Our prayer team will be praying with you throughout the week.
Now, as we have our hearts open, let's practice giving. Our spiritual home invites you to give and continue your generosity. I invite you to prepare your gifts as we align with the universal law of circulation. As we give, we shall receive. In truth, there is no lack or limitation. Abundance is our true nature.
We love receiving your checks through regular mail or direct deposit through your bank, and there are two ways that you can contribute online. You can click on the donate button on the Watch Live page, or download the Give app, where Give is spelled G-Y-V-E.
I invite you to repeat our prosperity affirmation with me, together. Divine love, one with me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am joy-filled and grateful.
Well, I've had a great time being with you all this morning. I want to again thank Reverend Kristen Powell and Lisa for helping make this possible today. Hope to see you all again real soon. I'm going to finish up with a song that I wrote a long, long time ago. It's about the universal law of giving and receiving, and it's called Give It Away. If you need something, you got to give it away. Woo! If it's love you're after, give it away. Good news or laughter, give it away. Don't keep your blessings in a bottle on the shelf. A gift will grow when it is shared with someone else. Now that you found it, give it away. You'd be astounded, give it away. The sun shines from above for everyone to share. When something comes your way, show the world you care. Give it away. Give it away. Yeah. A penny saved won't grow no matter what you do. But if you give, it will be given back to you. Just like this.
Pressed down, shaken together, running over. Pressed down, shaken together, running over. Pressed down, shaken together.
If you need more money, guess what? Though it may sound funny, give it away. If you think there's something missing in your life, open your heart and give Proven Laura a try. Give it away. Give it away. Richard Mekdeci from Virginia Beach. We'll see you next time.
Well, that was some super high energy, fun song from Richard Mekdeci. We give thanks for Richard's music today, and you can learn more from him and see more of his music at empowerma.com/Richard. Oh, there it is, and a hyphen, Mekdeci. I also want to give a big thanks to Bob and Diane Hardy, who facilitated for us today and do such a wonderful job. You're actually going to be seeing them going forward about once a month as facilitators, so we're really pleased that they've joined our regular facilitation team. And now, as we bless our offerings, we bless both the giver and the gift, so that it may go forth and multiply and increase the good in our lives. Sounds a lot like generosity, doesn't it? And so we give thanks for the ways that it will touch lives as it goes forth. So let's give thanks. Together, let's expend some of our generosity to this offering that has just been given. Together, we give thanks for the ever-increasing, constant flow of absolute good in our lives now. Today, we'd like to give a special blessing to our veterans. This week was Veterans Day, and we know what a generous gift it is to serve, to protect our country, and to sometimes even give of your life. And so we want to give thanks for those veterans and bless them now and their families. So together, veterans, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the divine light within you. Our children's ministry meets every Sunday at 10. I'm not sure if we're going to go see something. Yes, we've got something to see. Let's head over, probably to the Chakala home, and see what's going on.
Hi, Unity. It's Maddie and Millie
and Princess Leia. And we're here to share with you about our Unity lesson for the kids last week. Our lesson was Star Wars themed, and we learned about a galaxy far, far away. You may not realize it, but Star Wars is a very metaphysical story, right, guys?
Yeah.
What does every Jedi need to learn about, Millie?
The Force.
The Force. And where is the Force?
All around you.
All around us and in us, right? The Force is kind of like what Unity calls substance. It's the spiritual essence of everything. It's not just matter, it's the spiritual essence of matter. So when we're one with the Force, we can do amazing things, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we become Jedis. And what else did we learn about, Maddie?
The dark side.
The dark side, yeah. But in Unity, we talk about we have a statement of truth, and our statement of truth says that there is only good, right? One presence and one power, God the good. So then how is there a dark side?
All the bad thoughts that you have.
Bad thoughts, yeah. Negative thoughts. Negative thoughts like not having enough, lack and limitation, worrying, stress, any things that are a part of our ego, right? That's the dark side. That's where the real battle happens, is right in here. So what can we do as Jedis to make sure that we're manifesting our good?
Meditate.
Meditate, yeah. Meditate on the good things that we want, right?
Take deep breath.
Take deep breaths, yes. And probably playing with Baby Yoda too, huh?
Yeah, we have our Baby Yoda dolls right here.
Yes, they are so cute. All right, Unity. Well, that's all from us this week. We hope you have a great Sunday and a great week. We love you and we bless you. May the Force be with you. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Well, truly, may the Force be with Maddie, Millie, and Michelle as well, and our whole youth ministry. Let's bless them together. Children, youth, and teachers, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the divine light within you. Let's join together in a prayer of protection and just hold our entire world in our minds and in our hearts as we do so collectively. Together, the light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever we are, God is. I am divine. Stick around to the end of our service. There are always new selfies you won't want to miss, and we always want more. So send in your own at office@unityofwalnutcreek.org. And don't forget, you can also email and say, hey, I want some help taking a selfie, and Brenly will come over to your house and do that for you. Let's take a moment to join in our peace song. You are the love and the light and the peace on earth right now. So let your light shine, have fun, and spread joy. Have a great week, everyone.